Hi there. Thank you for joining this particular recording. I am Ian Mingo and I'm your instructor. Now, just a brief about myself. And today, we're actually going to be talking about harnessing Python and AWS Lambda for data scraping. Now, this was part of the session I had with African Digital Skills conference. Okay, that's earlier in November 2023. Now, this becomes a follow-up to that particular session, as I was not able to complete the items as I would have wanted to. All right, so that's why I actually have that running now. So those would actually be a precursor. I'll add the link in the description below so that you could check that out. So you can just watch that. That gives you a fair idea of running the code within the local environment, setting up for all of those things. And then that becomes pretty straightforward. And then a few pointers as well that you could follow. And then I put up 2 blog posts also. You could just take a look at that. And then, yeah, all of those would be in the description. Okay, so you could just take a look at that. So let's get started. Now, I have this repository which has all the code that we are going to use. So I'll just want to clone that into my environment. So I come here. Okay, so this is more like a playground that I'll be working from. I do an ls. I did not have anything there. So I could go ahead. I run my git clone. I paste the link here, right, for that. It's done. So I could go ahead and then change directory into my data scraping.python. So if you look at that, I have literally everything that I need in there. All right. So those are listed out for me. The CSS, the index file, the README, all of these are pretty straightforward for that. Now, I'm going to be doing 2 things now. Okay, so I'm going to install the dependencies that we need. Okay, now if you look here, we need BS4, CSV, JSON, and then request. But we're going to install 2 of those. That's the BS4 and then the request. So I'll go ahead first off, and then I do pip install. Okay. Pip install BS4, and then also pip install requests. Okay, so with an S, take note of that. And then I do a -t, okay, and then a dot, okay. All right, so once I have that done, it actually goes to install all of that for me, and then I could proceed. Then I would go ahead to create a folder. Okay, so Python. Now I need to create this folder. Okay, so that's for a second demonstration. So there are 2 approaches we could go about running our code on Python. I mean, in terms of the dependencies, right? We could add them directly as we've done here. Okay, so all the dependencies are right there within the folder. Or we could now use something we call layers. Okay, so I'll basically demonstrate with having the files or the modules within the folder, but I'll just do a brief overview of how that works or how to create the layers and then how to use them as well. All right, great. So let me just change into the Python. I think I went back in there. So Python here. Then we are good to go. So we are here. Then I could just run the initial command that I ran, okay, to install the BS4 and the request. So I ran that. And then once I'm done, I could zip all the files in here. So I just zip them, zip-r, okay. And then I give it the name python.zip. And then I specify that all the files within this particular folder. So once I'm done, it creates a python.zip folder for me. I would go ahead and then copy that particular folder. All right, so back to my playground here. I'll copy and then I head to Python, right? So then I copy this, okay. And then I paste it somewhere, which is neutral. So like the root folder here. Then I would come here also, and then I can delete that, okay, because I'll not need it again, right? So that actually gets to save me some time. Now, back to my terminal, what I'll do is that I'll go up one level, and then I'll want to zip like the remaining files within the folder. So literally that same command, okay, zip-r python.zip, but this time I'll change the name. So I want that to be script-python. Okay, so I have that done. I do an ls, I could see that. So I will just go back there and then copy this script.python to the playground. Okay, so I just copy it here and then I'm ready to go. So with that said, I'll head to the AWS console. So if I come here, I have my console already open, and then I could head to the Lambda side of things. So if I come here, I mean, I already have some functions here, so I could maintain these, no problem. And then I'll create some functions again. So I create a new function. So I give it a name, let's say script Python. Okay, but this time I'll specify two. You notice that it told me that already exists, but once I add the two, that's a different one. Now, if you are creating the function, you have a number of options. Use a blueprint, use a container image, okay, or a blueprint, or you can author from scratch. We are going with that. And then we can specify the runtime. The runtime tells us that, okay, we are using this particular language. And if you look here, there are quite a number of languages that are supported, and even some bit of what operating system action. So these are all possibilities that you have available. You have Java, you have Go, all of these things. But we'll just go with the Python 3.12, and then we specify the architecture. Now, there are some information about the permissions and then advanced settings, which you could also look at. But in our case, we don't really need that. So if you wanted a VPC, that's possible. If you want to tag these particular resources, that's also possible. And I mean, tagging is very important. I mean, as you build your services or build out your infrastructure. So I'll go ahead and then create the function. So I create that, I hit create, okay. And once I hit create, it actually takes a while to load in there. So once I have that ready, right, I could go ahead. So we have the code source here. I could go ahead and then hit upload from, and then I specify either an S3 or a zip file. So I'll just go ahead and then use the zip file. Now, if I'd uploaded that particular file within an S3, then I would have a path like this, which I could paste here, that S3 link for the object, and then I could use that for my Lambda. Okay, so I could just go ahead here, zip file. I upload it so that so I'm actually looking for something else. Let me see. Playground here. Yeah, script.python, right? So I select that and then I save it. Okay. Now, once I save that, okay, once I save that, I could go ahead and then test that to see if it's going to work. Okay, so you see that I have everything that I need in here, and then I'm good to go. So let me test that. So once I hit test, I could create the test event. Okay, so let me give it a name. Let's say test. Let me just put test there. I don't need to change anything here. You could have multiple templates, but we're not going to be using any of these templates. We are pretty much good to go. All right. So I save it. Then I could run the test. So I could now click on test. And then once it runs, I get an error that what Lambda function. Okay, so no module named Lambda function. This is because by default, now with Lambda, you actually have to specify a Lambda function.py file. Okay, that's in this case, since we are using Python, that would be something that they would actually want to be looking out for. All right, so I have my code here. And then what I'll do is that I'll go ahead and then rename this. Okay, so I'll rename that to Lambda, okay, underscore function, okay, .py. Now, once I have that done, since there are some changes, I'll deploy that. And then once it's done deploying, I could go ahead and then test that out. Okay, so I hit the test and then it runs to tell me that what extraction is complete. Now, this is based off the fact that within our function, we return this particular, how do you call it? That particular JSON object. Okay, so that's what's presented to me. We could go ahead and then add some extra components, okay, which would now show, let's say for value 1, okay, or value 3. All right. So once we have this done, okay, we could go ahead and then deploy that. So yeah, so I deploy that, then I could test that, and then it actually picks that out for me. So if I check my, how do you call it? If I check my HTML file here, okay, which we are referencing, we notice that what there's Canada here. So that's what's printed out for you. So it's as simple as that. And as I was mentioning, right, with the, we're unable to see the CSV file which is generated. But as far as, based off our function here, right, if all of this is actually able to work, it now gives us what? We now return that code that, okay, this actually worked. Okay, so that's about that. Now, an option could be to move this temporary file. Okay, so right here, okay, we could have just imported the module for Botos 3. Okay, Boto 3, and then we'll just run the command. Okay, so this is actually the command we're going to run, but of course, if you're writing that within the code, you know how to write that. So S3, then we just copy that. That's the CSV file that we have. Okay, so we could just copy that, and then we'll specify, let's say, an S3 bucket or something like that. So it will be as simple as that. So you could just check that out and then see how that goes. So this is us doing this. Now, if you wanted to add the layers, right, we could come here. Okay, so that would be the second option. So aside, let's say, bundling everything together, we could come here and then we create a new layer. So we specify the details. So Python, we give the description, and then we upload the zip file as well. Then we specify the architecture which we'll be using. Okay, and then that becomes like pretty straightforward. Now, once that's done, it becomes simple for you to go from there. Okay, so I have this done already, so I'll just use that one. And then I come back to the functions. Okay, so I come back here, I go to my script, Python 2, okay, and then I could go ahead and then add that layer here. So you see that there are layers here. I could go ahead and then add the layer. Okay, so down here, I click add layer. I specify, okay, so either an AWS layer, a custom layer, or I can just give an ARN of the layer that I want to add. So I could just go ahead, choose the custom one, okay. The version will show 5, okay, because I've done this a couple of times. So it actually picks on that as 5 versions that I've used now. So I go ahead and click on add, and then that will be added in there. So once that is added, right, if I do not have the, how do you call it? The beautiful soup 4 and then the routes in there, then this would actually take over. And then this particular layer will be where they'll source that particular information from. So if I still run the test, it's going to work, okay, because I literally specified all of that. Okay, let's try something. Okay, no worries. I mean, this works fine. So we are pretty much good to go. Okay, so that is that, and that's how you'd actually get to run that code, okay, in there. So we have everything that we needed generated. So even the scripts to now do that. Let's see if we can run the second script. So there's a second script here. So let me name this one. Okay, so one here. And then let me name this now Lambda function. I hope I get the name right. Underscore function dot py. And then let's see, there are some changes, right? So we just deploy that. And once we deploy that, we are going to see. So this actually, if you look here, this particular code, okay, now scrapes the data from a particular URL. So we'll just see if that will be possible here. Okay. Yeah, so it's still able to do that, right? So let's try printing out some of the details there and then see how it looks. So which detail can we print? Let's see. All right, so let's just print the value. That would actually print out the very last value that they had. Okay, so that would be good to work with. So we have the value there. Then we can still deploy that. Don't forget. So once you have the changes, you actually have to deploy that. So we will deploy that. All right, it's taking a while. All right, so it's deployed, and then we can test that to see what we are going to get. Okay, yeah. So it tells us now, which is understandable. I mean, if you watch my video, you'd actually get to see why it's that. But let's see if we can get some value in there. Let me just pick the heading instead. I think that will be much helpful. So heading, deploy that. And once we have that deployed, we could still go ahead and then test that. Okay, so one that's deployed, we can test that. And then let's see what we're going to get. All right, great. So we have the website there. Okay, so let me just show you this link. I mean, for those who have not necessarily watched the previous videos, right? So let me just copy this link here, and then let me show you what exactly was given, right? So I have this here, and then if you look within this space, right, we have what website. So this was what was actually printed. Okay, so based off everything, this was actually what was printed. All right, so that's that, and then that's what we have in there. Okay, so we have the website here, and it was not able to pass this. Okay, so it means I would have to actually streamline our code if we wanted to show that. Okay, so that sort of tackles all of that. And I mean, it's as simple as it gets with that. All right. So thank you for watching. And I hope you got to learn a few things. I mean, how easy it is with Python and all of that. And I hope to see you for my next video as we go along, as I start off. So I'll be starting off on the project. Okay, so you definitely see and then hear about that. So thank you so much, and wishing you all the very best. And as always, I'm Ian Mingo, and I'm your instructor. Thank you.